As you head out this afternoon, it is, well, about as perfect as it can get. We are warming up, though. Temperatures are in the upper 70s and low 80s. We've got a lot of sunshine, just a few clouds, and more clouds on the horizon here as we head into Friday, Saturday, and into your Easter Sunday. Here's a look at temperatures. We're up to 79 in downtown New Orleans, 80 out in Laplace. Looks to be one of the warmer spots, except for Gonzales, checking in at 83 this afternoon. Still some 70s up around I-12, and a nice breeze out of the east. This is helping at least stir up the air, but it's also starting to pull in that moisture, so the humidity is slowly ramping up later today. We'll warm up a couple more degrees, the low 80s with lots of sun. It'll be a warm one this afternoon. There are your gusty winds out of the east-southeast, and they do stay breezy tonight. That'll help pull in moisture, and so tonight many of us will level off in the 60s. It won't be as cool for your Friday morning as what we saw this morning. Now, the humidity, it's not terrible. It still is comfortable, at least for our standards, as we go throughout the rest of today. But notice tonight it starts to creep up. These are dew point temperatures, not air temperatures, so this is a measurement of how humid it feels. And once you start to see 60s for your dew point, that's getting the muggies in here. Not oppressive, but it's noticeable, and that will continue into your Easter weekend. The popular high temperature Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, about 84 degrees. I do think we'll see some sunshine tomorrow. I do think we'll see some sunshine on Saturday, and then we start to see mostly cloudy skies on Sunday, just some spotty showers, a 20% chance of showers Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. So at the moment, it looks like the bigger storm problem for your Easter Sunday is northwest of us in this area of yellow. This is a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather. This includes Shreveport, Monroe, Alexandria, maybe as far south as just north of Lake Charles and Houston have a higher chance of seeing severe weather Sunday afternoon. And for us, we could see a thunderstorm or two. They're just going to be extremely isolated. So our risk is very, very low down here the closer you get to the Gulf waters. So that's for your Sunday. As we go into Monday and Tuesday, potentially a better chance of seeing a few more storms, but you can see the chances, they don't skyrocket. And so we go from a 20% on Sunday to 30% Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now the pattern next week, it's rather difficult to tell you the exact timing and placement of the storms this far out. And so with the lack of confidence in those two things, we're going to keep the chances at around 30% for now. Now, when you look at the pattern, it's not one of those that's a slam dunk for storms across the Gulf Coast. So here we go Saturday. The reason I think it's dry and warm Saturday, this big ridge is sitting over us. That's what you see in dark red here. That's sinking air, that's warm air. But here's the culprit for the storms out to our northwest. It's a storm system diving out of the Pacific Northwest. You can see it swing through the panhandle of Texas. This will be the recipe for severe weather, or cause the recipe for severe weather right in there, the closer you get to it. Notice the further down south you get, you run into that ridge Sunday. There's also a cool front attached to this. So as the storm system lifts away, the cool front doesn't have anything else to move it, so it stalls out here. And this is the pattern that leads to some storms each day next week. We're fighting it between the trough and the ridge, and we're right in between where that front is, and that'll help be a little focal point for some storms as we go throughout next week. But again, with this type of pattern, it's hard to tell exactly where the storms could fire up and the exact timing. So that's why we're going to keep it at 30%. The biggest chunk of rain over the next 7 days is going to fall up in eastern Oklahoma. It looks like they'll have widespread. That's a big rain for those areas, 3 to 6 inches or 2 to 6 inches. And eventually all that water runs into the Mississippi River. So we will probably see even the Mississippi River is expected to crest on April 27th. With that extra rain, it's probably going to stay quite high even into early May. Again, we'll be near the threshold to open the Bonnie Carey. We'll still wait for the Army Corps of Engineers to make their official announcement, but if they're going to open it, it would be at some point next week before we get to that crest, which would be at that threshold of nearly 1.25 million cubic feet per second of water. That'd be flowing through the Carrollton Gauge area. So beautiful today, warmer tomorrow. Still not bad Saturday, but quite warm for the Crescent City Classic run. A couple showers Sunday, and then next week, just a few storms around each and every day and staying warm in the 80s. Our marine forecast, winds are picking up. We call for a light to moderate chop over the next 3 to 4 days. Pressure sitting at 30.1 inches. High tide is later this afternoon, and low tides happening in the early morning hours.